What's going on, folks? My name is DeVon Truvel, the humble and proud creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and today I'm here to talk to you about the Masterpiece Edition. Hard to say exactly how long it took because there's a lot of things that we did or that we wanted to do with the first edition that we just really weren't in the space to do, whether it's affordability, creativity wise, we weren't able to do them. And everything that we weren't able to do, we kind of just, tucked away a little bit and was like, okay, we'll save that. All feedback that we were getting all throughout the years, as far as like rules and different mechanics and things that we should add, we were like, okay, we'll take that. So it's really been in the works for probably 3 to 4 years at this point. The actual, like production, creating of it and manufacturing was probably a year and a half. But as far as like the brainstorming, the collecting different notes and all that, it's been a solid at least 3 years, if not 4. Why is this edition special? There's a lot of reasons. I don't know how many details I want to get into here, but obviously, first and foremost, this is the 100th year anniversary of the bombing of Tulsa Black Wall Street, right? So, off top, 2021, we knew as a team we needed to make sure we took the game, the aesthetics of the outside, what the board was like, what the game mechanics, like we needed to take everything in the game to the next level to make sure we did the legacy and the 100th year marker just justice, right? So that's first and foremost. Outside of that, every edition has a little bit of a real estate in my heart, space in my heart for sure. The first edition, probably the most space, just because that was the proof of concept, right? Like we can do this, and it's not the best game as far as quality. Like I have a few first editions still, and like the money's not quite there. The cards, the quality of the card is not quite there. But at the end of the day, we made a game from nothing. We made a game, and people bought the game, and they loved the idea of supporting Tulsa Black Wall Street. Our concept of validating Black history in gaming was able to get validated in the fact that people bought the first edition. So that was a good one. It was also like me first graduating from college, living with my grandma. Shout out to Grandy always. So yeah, it kind of just cements a piece of my life. Second edition was when I got engaged. Was living with the Queen. Masterpiece edition. Now we're married, living with the Queen. So it's like every edition is cool because you can see it in some of like the small details if you pay attention to what's on the money. But every edition where we're getting better and better as we as people grow, as we as people get better and better. That's also reflected in the games. What is my favorite update? Ooh, there's a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 because there's one that's my favorite overall, but then there's a real small detail that I don't think a lot of people are gonna get that I really like as well. So the big broad one is the board. The fact that we were able to link up and connect and commission with amazing artists from all over the world. We got folks out here in LA, we got folks up in the Bay, we got people in Houston, North Carolina. Of course, we got some people from Tulsa, we got people from England, like just literally from all over the world who, felt connected enough to the story to want to create something. And I think that's just dope in itself, the fact that, this vision of what Black Wall Street was and is helped us create a game, and then the game helped artists create art, and then the art is now put on the game. And it's just, I don't know, I think that's a dope creative circle. Literally on the board, it is a circle too. But I think that's probably my favorite big piece of the game that other people will also appreciate. Now, small, I'm not detail oriented per se. My wife will tell you that. I'm not detail oriented per se, but I appreciate the details. Right? Like I might not always think to put the small details in there, but that's why we have an amazing, big, dope team. And there's a really small detail in there on the money. And if you have the first edition or the second edition, you see what's on the money. And I'm not gonna give it away. Y'all can it can be an Easter egg. Y'all can go find that. But if you look on the money, there's certain things that were updated, and you'll know when you see it. It's real small, real subtle. But I love that subtle detail. That was actually the Queen's idea to make that update. She found it, and yeah, I think that's probably my favorite, just because it's personally means a lot to me, means a lot to our life and where we're going. So that's probably my subtle favorite part of the game. Why is the game? Don't ask that. Like, come on, bruh. I mean, so there's a few reasons. One, it's the 100th year anniversary, right? So 1921 was the bombing. It's 2021 this year. So, I mean, mathematically, it made sense to make the game $121. So we kind of reverse engineered it. We were like, okay, we want to be able to charge this. So in order to charge this, what do we have to include? So one, it's a very limited run, right? So only 1,000 going to be available in the summertime. We might do another run for the holidays, but it won't include everything that's in this one right now. This run does have a limited edition print in there as well that has the design of the board game and the masterpiece on it, 1 out of 1,000. And I mean, the biggest piece is the fact that we worked with 15 plus artists to commission their art and put it in here as well. So that took a lot of time, a lot of work, right? A lot of resources in order to do all of that. So those are the reasons. There's tons of resources in the book. Right, there's an art gallery where you can learn about all of the art that's commissioned in there. There's what's it called? LLC comparisons, intellectual property comparisons. There's an activity in there that we call the empowerment pack, where students can kind of discover their superpowers. They can discover or redefine their social styles. There's a business model canvas in there. So if you have a business idea and you're a visual person, you can already draw out your business idea. So you're paying $120 for this amazing, beautiful work of art of a board game. But with all the resources that are in the game, you can easily make even more money yourself off of the game, right? This off of what you're learning. So that's one of the reasons. Second, y'all know, if you've been following the Play Black Wall Street brand, you know we're a big Nip fans, big Nipsey Hussle fans, and you know he sold his Crenshaw mixtape out there for $100, based on reading Contagious, and we're kind of, you know, it's kind of our homage, our homage, our paying respects to the king, Ermias, aka Nipsey Hussle, and we're charging $120 for our board game to also, you know, help spread the word, but again, paying homage to the King Hustle. What was the hardest part? Man, the hardest part for me is the waiting. If I'm being real, the hardest part is the like really taking your time, being patient, and then the waiting for it to get manufactured, waiting for it to get shipped. Because I'm a people person, you know, like borderline people pleaser. So I want to get the game, want to get this amazing masterpiece, this work of art to the customer. So I hate the waiting aspect of it. But outside of that, what was the hardest part? I would say, you know, no disrespect to all the artists, right? Because all the artists were dope. The work was dope. We appreciate y'all. But that was the hardest part for sure. Because all the other editions, we were just working, right, just with us, our team. It was very in-house. We can design without getting people's opinions. There was no like extra resources that needed to go out to pay for certain things. There was only our schedule that we needed to work with. But bringing in these artists, it was just a lot of schedules to work with. So some of the artists needed some feedback on the art that they were creating, and then getting the artist interviews lined up was difficult with the schedules. So worth it. 100%. Like all the artists that may be watching this, like it's all love for sure. But when we're thinking about the hardest part, like working with other people and scheduling those things and making sure that everybody feels valued, everybody feels heard, and yeah, just making sure that everything was copacetic. That was the hardest part. But I think that's what made this version the best version that we've ever made. The fact that there's other people's creativity, other people's emotions in here. We have some dope, passionate artists who literally like they pour themselves into the game. And I'm not saying any one artist's name because I don't want anyone to feel less valued than the other. But there were several artists that were just like, thank you for letting us be a part of history. Thank you for me allowing me to be a part of history. So the fact that they just felt so honored, and their work is forever on this edition of the game. And although it's a limited run, like there's going to be families out there who have this game. There's going to be families who frame the art and who talk about the masterpiece edition that was only available in 2021. So yeah, I feel like it was definitely the hardest, but just like everything, like the things that are hardest are usually worth the most. So highly encourage y'all, like if you can partner with some folks, if you can bring in other talents and it can be smooth, like do it. Don't be a silo. Don't work by. We get that a lot. Can I show the game for sure? So this one over here, this is my brother's company, Markel. Shout out to Rare X, the Markel squad. So he's been on the team since the first edition. Literally, again, took it to the next level with the graphic design aspect of it and making sure all the images high quality, making sure the box design high quality. So that's been a dope partner, friend, family, much love. The other one is True Health Forever. So when we first started the board game company, it was actually under our brand True Health Forever, which me and the Queen started, back in 2016. It had 4 pillars of health: social health, physical health, spiritual health, and economic health. And our first product from True Health Forever, TH4, was the first edition of Black Wall Street, the board game. And you've probably heard this story before, but we got a lot of customers that it didn't match up. Like they were like, this is a health company, but it's selling a Black history board game, or this is a board game, but it's being sold by a health company. There was just a lot of, I guess, confusion in the market, and it's not our job to clarify confusion, right? As a business, as a brand, it's your job to make confusion disappear, right? You want to make sure that the perception is as clear as possible. So that's why we created a completely separate brand, Play Black Wall Street, everything sold through that, trademarked through that, all that good stuff. But those are logos. So Rare X, dope fashion brand and graphic designing brand. Also 10% of all their proceeds go to supporting foster youth. So it's a lot of love there. They are a partner. And then of course, True Health Forever is still the main parent company over it, focusing on holistic health. And this product is basically trying to solve the economic health of the African diaspora. No. Right? So is this game just like Monopoly? No. So that means one, and I'll go through some differences, but please read the rule book, y'all. There's been tons of DMs, like this is back in like the first edition, second edition, but tons of DMs, tons of phone calls, tons of text messages, people like, how do I play the game? What happens when I do this? And it's like, hey, all of that's in the rule book, right? Trying to make sure. And there's some quote where they say, like, if you want to hide the secrets of the world, put it in a book, right? Because people aren't going to read it. So we're trying to dispel that a little bit. The rules or the keys are in the rule book, so definitely read it. But one, this is based on real life, right? Monopoly, no disrespect, but Monopoly is completely fairy tale, whereas this is based on real Black history, real events, real businesses. Number 2, Monopoly is a dope real estate game. This is a dope business owner game, right? So William Dreamland Theater, Uncle Steve's Barbecue, Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Salon, Booker T. Washington High School. Like, these are businesses that you're owning, not just real estate. Number 3, no jail. Right, this is a game built on Black excellence, Black legacy, entrepreneurship, ownership, melanated brilliance, and genius. So there is no jail in this game. So those are just a few of the differences. I mean, check out the game. Y'all know if anyone's bought it, like it's not It's similar to Monopoly, the fact that you're rolling, right? You're buying it, it's business, there's money. But when you actually get to the mechanics of it, especially the Masterpiece Edition, it's definitely different. Whole nother level in our opinion. And our opinion is better, but we're a little bit biased. But definitely check it out. If you like Monopoly, you're gonna love this. What's my favorite business? So that's a good question. It came up, and that's why I already have an answer a little bit, because I did an interview with the Boys and Girls Club of America, and one of their students asked me the same question. Brilliant question. No one ever asked me that before they did. But favorite business would have to be William Greenland Theater, and not because it's the most profitable in the game, but because the first story that I ever wrote was called Dreamland. Wrote this back in middle school. Unfortunately, this was back in the day when there was like computers and floppy disks, so I had it saved on a floppy disk. Maybe it sounds so old. Had it saved on a floppy disk, and unfortunately, when my parents got divorced, we moved. The floppy disk, got damaged a little bit, and I couldn't access it ever again. But that was my first book that I ever wrote. Before I knew about Tulsa Black Wall Street, before I knew about William Greenland Theater, I wrote Dreamland in middle school. So that concept has a little space in my heart. Number two, I love movies. I think that will be the next frontier that I get into once I feel confident in board gaming, moving on to movies, to screenplays, to comics. And yeah, one of my lifelong dreams is to make a full feature film. So between my first story that I ever wrote to me just being a lover and creator of films, William Greenland Theater is probably my favorite on the board for sure. What does the future hold? Okay, you nosy. Okay, I like that. So I'm not gonna give too many details, but more games, right? For sure, more games. I came to the realization the other day that at first I was planning, and the team was planning on doing more of a widespread of different black history games. There's Allensworth, there's Mansa Musa, there's Queen Calafia. Like, there's a lot of dope black history that needs board games. And if you're a board game creator, boom, those are some ideas. Go ahead and run with it. But what we're going to do as Play Black Wall Street, just to really strengthen the brand and add some more depth to the brand, is we're going to make more games centered around Tulsa Black Wall Street. I don't know how much details I want to give, but basically, we will rebuild, right? That's one of our slogans, one of our catchphrases for Play Black Wall Street. So just know that we want to release more games that teach literally how to rebuild. So Black Wall Street, the board game, this edition is really good at the mindset and the mindset of ownership versus using or a customer, and the mindset of money management. We still need to teach budgeting a little bit, so that's going to probably be a whole nother game. We still need to teach the legalities and like the flow of what being an entrepreneur really means, as far as paperwork, as far as taxes, as far as all that stuff. So that can be a whole nother game. We need to touch on real estate a little bit, not in the way that Monopoly does it, to make sure there's no problems. But we need to touch on real estate and the use of land a little bit. So there's a few aspects that we want to touch on. And when you play all of the games, when you master all of the games, you will be able to go out into the world and rebuild. That's kind of that's what the future holds, right? Without giving too much, that's what's popping. Thank y'all for tuning in. My name is DeVon Truvel, humble, proud creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. The Masterpiece Edition is available now. You can go to playblackwallstreet.com and go ahead and pre-order it. The second edition will remain available, so you can get that as well. But get the Masterpiece limited edition work of art. Mwah! Go and get that. Shout out to all the artists that were part of this. Shout out to the Queen for holding it down, of course. Shout out to Rare X and Markel. Shout out to Javon and Slight Work Visuals for coming through and doing the photos and the videos. That's the word. Shout out to Grandy, my dad, my mom. Yeah, just shout out to everybody. You know, if you were a part of this, whether it's a small part and you just sent me text messages, let me know that we can do it. Whether you were sending the Queen messages, whether you were sending anyone in our team just love and support, we appreciate it. To our customers, our amazing community and audience who've been down with us from the first edition back in 2007. Much love and respect to y'all for keeping with us and holding us down 100%. Wouldn't be able to get to the Masterpiece Edition unless you took a chance on us, took your shot on us, and bought the first edition. So much love to those supporters back in the day. And yeah, we gonna keep on going. We gonna keep on going with Black history. We gonna keep on going with teaching people about Black Wall Street, financial literacy, and money management. And I know y'all definitely want an app or a video game. That's gonna come someday. But we appreciate the love and go get that. Peace.